From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey, everybody, Rob Cairns, I'm the founder, CEO, and Chief Digital Strategist at Studying Digital Marketing. In today's podcast, I have Mr. Ryan Logan with me, and we're going to talk all about InfluenceWp. Grab a drink, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. The SDM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. Today I've got Mr. Ryan Logan with me, and we're going to talk all about InfluenceWp. Hey Ryan, how you doing? And welcome back.
Hey Rob, I'm good. Thanks for having me back. Pleasure to talk to you again.
Yeah, I love talking to you. We just share so much alike and so much what's going on and stuff like that. So a lot of people still don't know, and I know you've been on before, and we talked about InfluenceWp once before, don't know what it is. So do you want to kind of give a Coles Notes version of what InfluenceWp is and what you're doing?
Yeah, it's I celebrated the 1 year anniversary as of yesterday. And I made the announcements recently that the focus is going to be 100% on WordPress product creators, just helping them boost their presence and reach more customers. But at the same time, helping consumers find trusted deals from these partners. And so they can save some money, save time. Because let's be real, people are out there searching the web for deals. So hopefully this puts an end to that for some people. And just establishing that trust and the relationships with the partners, which are the product creators and the consumers.
That's a mouthful. Because when you launched, you were kind of all over the map, right? You were trying to do a little bit for product creators, a little bit for devs, a little bit for podcasters, a little bit for everything. And then I think you realize that being all over the place is not a good thing.
Yeah, coming from a background in building directories, I thought I would leverage that and be everything to everyone in WordPress. And I just found out that messaging was difficult. The outreach was difficult, getting people to understand what the true passion and driving force behind this was. But now that it's just focused on WordPress product creators, the messaging becomes simple and more focused and easier to understand for everyone.
Yeah. And I mean, focusing on product creators is really great, except for one thing. And you and I were kind of talking about this before we went to record. Product creators talking to product creators probably doesn't do a lot in the long run, does it? We need to do more than that.
Yeah, correct. I mean, if InfluenceWp has a huge goal of reaching consumers, and I keep driving that home to IWP's partners. We need to reach the consumers, cross-pollinate consumers. Yep. That way everybody knows what everybody else is up to. You introduce your users, your communities to other product creators, and that's how this thing really, really expands and reaches who it needs to reach. So more people can continue saving money, like I said, getting those deals, being introduced to other creators' products, and just cross-pollinating everybody.
Yeah, and that's not just an issue I think you're having. I think it's a general issue in the WordPress space. Totally is where we seem to forget about the end consumer in the day, except when we need to sell a website build, right? or a service. And I think we're actually doing ourselves a bit of a disservice actually in doing that.
Yeah, there's this. I posted about this many times. There is a problem with echo chambers. People continue to communicate talking about the same people over and over again in the same channels over and over again. And we need to break out of that to reach more people as a WordPress community in general, I feel.
Yeah, and I think kind of how you measure that. It's funny when we talk about this. When I started this podcast, I actually started and I was doing 100% WordPress guests. And I would bet you, Ryan, right now, even though I'm still entrenched in the WordPress space, but I'm also entrenched in the marketing space, and I have been for years. I would bet you I'm down to about 40 to 45% WordPress guests and 55% everything else. So I've made that kind of, and it's kind of happened organically in my case. So it's kind of shifted. And I think you're trying to do some of the same is say, hey, we've got all these WordPress product creators, but we need to get out there to all these other people sooner than later.
Yeah, and the other thing too, like along those lines, InfluenceWp has partnered with non-WordPress product creators. So they have approached me about for partnerships because they see
Yeah.
that these WordPress product creators, I'll give an example. WordPress product creators create videos, tutorials, whatever, product demonstrations. I've partnered with video companies, video vendors that do screen recordings, for example, they're not specific to WordPress, but they saw that this audience was there on InfluenceWp. They wanted to reach those folks. So not only the partners, the product creators, but also consumers. Again, we just keep trying to get to those consumers as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
it's funny when you mention video creators, I was thinking exactly that as you talked about it. And where I was thinking was um, we all know that if you followed Influence WP, you've partnered with Nido in past, and and that's exactly where I was thinking, believe it or not. That's the one that came to mind out of the WordPress space right away, is what they're doing. And
yeah.
you're smiling because we both get it. We both
Yeah.
get it, right? And
Yeah.
they're doing, and this is important too because products like Nido can be used by anybody, not just people in the WordPress space. And that's what is going to attract other people into Influence WP as well, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. The challenge though is like that messaging I've simplified now. We're focused on WordPress product creators, but it's like, how do you also get that messaging out that Influence WP is also attracting non-WordPress product creators because they see what the potential of this it could be, um, to reach other product creators outside of their
Mhm.
channels. And again, consumers.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I also think, and thinking about this a little bit as we talk, and this is an interesting discussion that I think goes beyond what you're doing, Ryan. You know what I mean? I think it's in the WordPress space discussion. And one of the worst things we do in our community is everybody sells WordPress as the solution. And my answer to that is no, no, and no. What devs need to start selling and designers is the results, and insert CMS name here. And I'm sorry. And I know I'm going to take some heat for saying this, and folks, bring it, go ahead, because if you sold the results, I can build you a website that will generate so many leads that will convert to so many sales. To me, that's way more important than saying, I'm going to build you a website with WordPress. And I think in essence, you're trying to do some of the same thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, with the name Influence WP and WordPress being mentioned all throughout the site, that's what I know. That's all I've really
Yeah.
known since getting into the web world. But what I
Yeah.
do agree with you, and I'll also take it a step further, is that people need to start selling the fact that they are solving a problem too.
Yeah.
I find that messaging is lacking. People sometimes go out there and create a website with WordPress and they're just trying to do it for their own purposes and they don't think about what am I actually solving a problem. They build it for themselves and not for other people.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
No disagreement here. So, and by building it for themselves, we're saying we'll take a brick and mortar business restaurant. And what the restaurant owner says is, I want this laid out so it looks pretty for me. And he's not taking into account what his community, what his potential customers, what his long term customers want to see. And that's the worst thing you can do. And
Mhm.
and I think that's one of the problem we have in this space. And it's hard to get, you're now partnering with product, you want to work with product creators, but now we got to get those product creators to say, okay, but I need to get pushing my products out of the space too. And that's hard to get them to change that mindset as well, I think.
Yeah, we're seeing some big names dabbling on other platforms that I didn't think I'd ever see. So there's definitely some of that going on.
I mean, the two that come to mind right away is Yoast. They've dabbled in the Shopify platform. And then we'll talk. And the other one that comes to mind right away is probably one of the ones you think about is Katie Keith over at Barn2
Yep.
Plugins. She's dived into the Shopify realm in a big way. I think what these big names and these smart people are, and I've had Katie on the show pre that I've had people from Yoast on the show. I think what they're starting to realize is there's in the WordPress space, there's only so much you can do, and by dabbling into some other platforms, they're actually expanding their business reach, and that's what you're trying to do with InfluenceWp is by partnering with partners out of the space, you're trying to expand that reach as well.
Yeah, I think they're trying to expand their reach. One of the reasons for that is diversification. So putting all your
Yep.
eggs in one basket is typically not a good idea. What I will say to the Barn2 folks and Yoast folks, my phone is open, my calendar is open. Perhaps if places like InfluenceWp were worked into those their systems, whatever, we could do something to where we reached more people, helped more people to you where you didn't need to go to those other platforms so fast. Maybe there's other avenues. Just throwing that out there for anybody, not even just them, but anybody that's like struggling. This is practically, it's free for pretty much 99% of my partners. So why not take a chance at it, right?
Yeah.
Save you that potential headache of having to go cross-platform outside of WordPress to reach more people. It's possible.
No, I agree. And I know, like, having been a long time user of InfluenceWp, having had you on the show, subscribing to your newsletter, you do put out a weekly newsletter. You do highlight those partners in that weekly newsletter. One of the other things you like to do is a giveaway every so often if you've got them. Do you have one running right now? Yes.
One just ended, so I'm taking we need more from partners, or
Yeah.
yeah, we need more from partners. I've got a couple in the queue that are going to be repeat giveaways from very generous partners that gave away a lot of seats, a lot of licenses. We're just going to keep replaying those as appropriate. But yeah, I'm taking a break this week from giveaways. I ran like 3 back to back. But with those, I am providing the software, the time. I do all of the work. You literally just provide the giveaway, and I do all the work. So
Yeah.
you think about this, if you're a team, especially if you're just starting out, you don't want to pay for this giveaway software. You don't have time to run it, to market it, communicate it, all of those things. It's just a no-brainer, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really is. How much time, and I know you have your own business to work on, and this is a passion project, and we all know where we all go with passion projects when we have families and friends and lives and businesses to run. How much time are you putting into InfluenceWp on a regular basis?
Oh man, I don't even want to tell you. As I did in a post recently, said in a post recently, I wish I would have tracked my time a year ago, but
Yeah.
I'm also glad I didn't, because I treat this as if it's my main source of income and it doesn't make me any money. So that shows how dedicated and committed I am to making this a success and keeping it going long term. I do it because I love it, and as long as that's the case, it's going to continue on. But it's a dizzying amount of work that I put into this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's what people don't realize. Any of us who have got into who care about the community, and you're one person who really cares. I've been involved in stuff running communities in the WordPress community. That's hard. it takes way more time than any of us even anticipate. And I don't even want to go there. Like, I co-manage the biggest WordPress community on LinkedIn with Courtney Robertson over at GoDaddy. And I can tell you the time involved to co-manage that, and some days it's a mess, is more than I'd like to admit to. And it's even worse now because I made a decision, about 4 months ago when I got a new smartphone, that I was not putting any social media on my smartphone whatsoever. So I can't even get bored in standing in line at a checkout and say, I'm going to deal with this because there's nothing to deal with, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know how that is.
Yeah.
But it's just, it takes a lot of work, and really you should be commended for that because you really care about the community. And I just wish some people would give back to this community like you are. Like, some people just don't do it, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, I mean, along those lines and along the lines of how much time is being put into this, that I've tried to do things differently. Another example of that is what I call concierge listings.
Yep.
You've got some of these sites out there that you sign up for their directory, you pay them in a lot of cases, and you are left alone to create the listing from scratch and all of those things and communicate it. I literally create the listings for people when they sign up, and I get them a huge head start. I build 90% of their listing and then turn it over to them. That's unique. The videos that I create, even though I don't get into heavy video editing, actually, I don't edit at all. I don't get into that side of things. It still takes so much time to research,
Yep.
record, publish, communicate.
Yep.
It's so much time. Um, and and to do it all for nothing basically is it's something.
Yeah, as being a podcaster, I sympathize, and I nod my head and I smile because it's the same thing every day. It's like, I mean, I'd be lying if I told you the podcast doesn't put eyes on my business. If I said that, yeah, I'd be lying. But on the other side of it, it's like every episode is somewhere between 4 and 6 hours of work, and plus plus plus, and people don't even understand. And if you're not a content creator, and I don't care whether it's websites, whether it's videos, whether it's graphics, whether it's social, whether it's something, nobody understands how much work is involved, right? So
There's a reason why really good video editors charge thousands of dollars for a single
yeah,
video. It is a ton. Like, you have to be fully committed to the entire process.
yeah, yeah.
It's a
So
lot.
true. So true. If you had your way moving forward, what beyond getting some more consumer reach, what would you like to see Influence WP go?
So when I first started, shortly after I first started it, I launched a community on
Yeah.
a third party platform called Circle. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of that.
Yep.
I truly believe that that will be the biggest component of Influence WP over time. It did not work on Circle, not because of Circle, but because I think it was just because Influence WP was too new at that time. It also started Influence WP at a time when WordPress was in a lot of turmoil.
Yeah.
It also got started right after that was the holiday season for a lot of, the timing was interesting. So I'm hoping that was the reason for it. And maybe I made some failures, but I plan to relaunch the community, but inside of Influence WP. So I'm going to use a WordPress based product and make it more seamless. So when you sign up, it's easier to get in. There's no separate system. And I think that will help the barrier of entry, to lessen that barrier of entry.
Yeah.
And I think that's where allowing partners to be adults and advertise their stuff respectfully would be a unique proposition you don't see in WordPress communities. Typically, the communities are based on the people running them. They want to run the show. They want to have final say of everything, which I agree to a certain extent. But I believe in letting partners be adults. And if you've got something to sell, do it in a respectful way. I believe in that. I feel like that should be allowed. And on top of that, bringing consumers into that community to talk directly with partners, the vendors, I think could be huge. Um, that's my next phase of this.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Communities is a starting one with any product is a tough one. I'm going through that right now because I had planned about 6 months ago to say I need to start a community where I dump stuff or share stuff into, and I went that route. And I didn't go with Circle or a WordPress product. So there you go. I went totally off the grid. I went to an open source community product that was MySQL and PHP based, and said, "Forget this. I'm not doing any of this," because I also don't believe, and I think this is why we're starting to see people expand a little bit out of the WordPress community. I don't believe WordPress is always the end solution for everything either. So I have to tell you that I'm very big on WordPress, but I don't. There are some things I don't suit, and there are some really good community products. I mean, the one that comes to mind right away is Fluent Communities, right off the top of my head. I mean, that's probably
That's what I'll be using. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
probably
Shout,
you and many other people.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Shout
then, but
out. Yeah.
shout out
Sorry.
to those guys. I think they're doing some really good
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. And for being a partner. So if you guys are
Yeah,
looking to build a community, yeah.
yeah, I think that's important. Um, I don't know personally, Ryan, if that's the issue or if people are just communitied out right now too, because you can jump on Facebook. We all know how many WordPress groups are on Facebook. I don't even want to count them anymore. I actually made a decision on Facebook where I went in about 6 months ago and I got out of every Facebook group I was in except for five, and three of those are not WordPress related. I made a decision. I just bailed
Mhm.
on everything. I'm done. Goodbye. So I don't know if that's some of it too. If we're just at a stage where people are online so much that the community out, and that's more the factor than the fact that InfluenceWp was new. I'm not so sure.
Yeah. You may be right there. Honestly, like if it amounts to nothing more than it is a place for the partners and myself to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
conversations, I'm fine with that. Because right now I'm relying on email campaigns,
Hmm.
not efficient to have conversations that way. So at a minimum, if the community becomes that, I'm probably going to be okay. But I would love to see consumers brought in. But it's going to be really about getting the messaging out there that you can come in here and you're not going to find gatekeeping to the point where you can't be a professional and adult and tell people what you are selling,
Yeah.
because we're all trying to make a living here. And
Yeah.
I think it's just very disheartening, and it boils my blood when I go into a community and I see people try to say, "Hey, I'm doing this," and they're like, "Well, that's not part of our community guidelines. Like, where's our, our cut?" Like that kind of thing. Like, did you
Yeah.
pay the man to be able to say what you're saying? Kind of like thing.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in that.
Well, I don't believe in that, but the other side of it is it's hard. It's a fine line between allowing people to promote and being really spammy. So,
Yep. Yep.
managing, I know in the GoDaddy, not the GoDaddy community, sorry guys, the LinkedIn community that Courtney and I run, the WordPress Global Product Group, we don't allow any advertising whatsoever.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons why we don't is because every second post is buy my service, buy my service, buy my service.
Mhm.
And that's a problem too. And there's a certain sector of the world, and we both know where it is, and I'm not going to call it out, but it's not in North America, that believe if they shove down advertising every day, people are going to buy their product. And it doesn't work that way. They haven't figured out that the relationships are more important than the product themselves, because a lot of these products are commoditized and you can insert product name here.
Mhm.
And that's a problem too.
Yeah, I may be completely delusional. I just have this vision that if you come into InfluenceWp as a partner, then you are going to act a certain way. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this kind of weeds out certain people potentially.
Yep.
If you want to stay a partner, then you just don't do that crap. Like, like no tolerance. Like you can do it, but like you said, if you start spamming and all that's like come on. Yeah.
But that's the difference between something like Influence WP that has, is set up differently than an open community where you just can't afford to allow that too. And
Yeah.
and we all know some of these, we haven't done this, but some of these open communities, we all know that certain partners get play in those communities because they're paying for the right to play. And we all know that goes on.
We could have a separate show about that. That's an yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that
Very
and that
yeah.
and that goes on everywhere. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reality of life. So,
Yeah.
have you thought about moving down the road, maybe? And this is just food for thought as we talk, is getting some of these partners maybe to join you on a Zoom call where you record a video and then put the video in the community or something like that. Have you?
I've I've thought about that. I've thought about a million things. I've thought about if the community is there, we can do live sessions, various types of live sessions.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got other initiatives that I've never ever seen done in WordPress around helping product creators sell more. Again, this would be part of their membership. Um, I've got all kinds of ideas that I've never seen done before that I want to try to pull off. It's just getting it out there. I will say that I just launched my first service, and that the only reason I did that is because I saw the need, and that was product reviews on a on-demand basis. So
okay,
I would record videos for vendors, and I would uncover issues with their software or their website. And they would just behind the scenes, like, Ryan, this is so valuable to us. We plan to fix this in our next software release. Thank you so much. So they come to me later on and they say, can you do another video? And I'm like, this takes so much time. I can't. I got other partners that are waiting for their first video to be created. So I created this service to help those folks and even non-partners that are just driving by and they
yeah,
need something like that. When there's a little bit of a cost, and it's very little, like it doesn't even really cover my time, but it helps when there's a little bit of cost behind it to keep the lights on and to weed out the tire kickers, so to speak. But
yeah, and it's not just about that. It's about when people pay a little bit, they tend to be more invested, and if it's
100%.
100% free. I knew a mentor of mine. His name was Paul Toby. If you know Adrian Toby of
Yeah.
Groundhog fame, Paul is Adrian's dad. And Paul runs a marketing agency called Training Business Pros. And one thing he used to say is even with things like seminars, if you charge $29 instead of making it free, $29 is basically free. Sorry. And
Mm-hmm.
people show up and fill the seats because they're invested because they bought something. And it's the same thing. What you're saying is that there's a bit of a cost that weeds out those people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
And people don't see value in free. I'm sorry, no matter what we do. And that's again a problem in our community because WordPress software is free.
Yeah, I've lost track of how many times I've done partner meetings like before they become a partner.
Yeah.
They say, why in the world are you doing this for free? Like there has to be some catch. Like I get that so often, and I just have to tell them there's not. There's no catch. So
Yeah.
that's getting over that. Getting potential partners over that has been something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how is the best way that anybody besides becoming a partner can support you and support Influence WP? How can people help?
Just go to influencewp.com and it's right there on the homepage at the top of the homepage. Partner perks, consumer perks, check those out. And it's if you don't sign up, you like throwing money away. That's just the best way that I can put it.
Yeah. And go on over and support the work Ryan's doing. It's good for the community. It's good for you. It's good for the partners. It's like a win-win-win all the way around. And thanks for joining me. As per always, I hope it helps. I hope it continues to thrive, and I hope you get there.
Appreciate you having me again, Rob. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. A very special thank you to Ryan for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.